Gervonta Tank Davis is one of boxing's most thrilling and talked about champions. Undefeated and constantly in the spotlight, Davis has become known for his raw power in the ring and his ability to knock out opponents in spectacular fashion. He's often hailed as one of the top fighters in the sport, especially after his recent victory over Frank the Ghost Martin, where he delivered a brutal left-hand knockout in the 8th round, successfully defending his WBA lightweight world title. The fight took place at the iconic MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, making it an even more historic event as it marked the 100th championship fight held there. Fans and critics alike were in awe of Davis's performance. However, behind the accolades and the success, a troubling side to Davis's personality and past is beginning to emerge. While many had once believed that Davis was simply a nice guy outside the ring, who turned into a fierce competitor once he stepped into the ring, new revelations have painted a much darker picture of the champion. His behavior both inside and outside the ring has raised serious questions about his character and his ability to control his aggression. The tension between public persona and real life. On the surface, Gervonta Davis seems to have everything under control. As a rising star in boxing, he's a fighter who has kept an undefeated record, and fans love his charismatic, fearless attitude. Yet, the more we see of him, the more it becomes clear that there's more to his personality than meets the eye. His outbursts at press conferences, his temper during confrontations, and his increasingly controversial actions outside of boxing are starting to reveal a side of him that many fans might not have expected from a champion. Despite his success in the ring, Davis's past has come back to haunt him. Some of the troubling stories about his personal life and behavior are hard to ignore. Many had assumed that Davis was just a nice guy who turned into a beast when the bell rang, but as more of his personal life comes to light, it's clear that there's much more to him than what we had originally believed. This new picture of Davis suggests that his aggression isn't confined to the ring, and it raises serious concerns about his character and his future. The truth about Gervonta Davis's aggression, one of the most striking aspects of Gervonta Davis's behavior, both inside and outside of the ring, is his aggressive nature. In the past, people thought that this aggression was only a part of his boxing persona, a way for him to intimidate opponents and hype up the crowd. However, recent events suggest that this behavior is more than just an act. His tendency to get into confrontations and show his temper is not something that stays inside the ring, it spills over into his personal life as well. Fans who have attended press conferences or seen Davis in public have witnessed his fiery personality firsthand. At these events, he's been known to get visibly angry, even to the point of cursing at his opponents or engaging in heated arguments. This aggressive attitude has become a hallmark of his public image. But what's even more troubling is the idea that Davis might carry this intensity and fearlessness with him everywhere he goes. To some, this makes him a person they would rather avoid outside of the ring. Recent revelations about Davis's legal issues, the intensity that Davis shows in the ring has translated into real-life problems too. Just before his big fight with Ryan Garcia, stories of Davis's past resurfaced. These included accusations of abuse, hit-and-run incidents, and other criminal charges. The timing of these revelations seemed too coincidental to some, almost as if his critics had seized the opportunity to bring up these issues right after his major victory. It wasn't just his opponents that seemed to be attacking him. It felt like there was a concerted effort to bring down his reputation, capitalizing on the success of his knockout win. One significant incident that brought his behavior into question was a 2019 altercation at an ATM in Tyson's Galleria, a mall near Washington, D.C. On February 27, 2019, Davis found himself in legal trouble when he allegedly got into a confrontation with a man at an ATM. The situation quickly escalated, drawing the attention of police. When officers arrived, Davis reportedly argued with them and even shoved one of the officers, turning a minor dispute into a serious legal issue. This led to Davis being charged with misdemeanor assault. As if this incident wasn't enough, just a few months later, Davis faced more charges for an alleged domestic violence incident. On February 4, 2020, Davis was charged with simple battery for an altercation with the mother of his daughter at the University of Miami campus. This was just a year after his first legal trouble, and it painted a troubling picture of Davis's character. These incidents, combined with his fiery temper and aggressive outbursts, raise questions about whether Davis truly has control over his actions, both inside and outside the ring. Davis's trouble with the law, a pattern of recklessness. Even with all his success, Davis has found himself in trouble with the law more than once. His behavior at press conferences and his temper seem to be just the tip of the iceberg. In 2020, Davis faced serious charges related to a hit-and-run accident. On November 5, 2020, Davis was accused of fleeing the scene of a crash that injured 4 people, including a pregnant woman. The crash occurred in Baltimore, where Davis reportedly ran a red light and collided with a Toyota. Instead of staying at the scene to help the victims, Davis allegedly fled, leaving behind a trail of serious legal issues. This hit-and-run incident led to 14 charges against Davis, including one for failing to remain at the scene of an accident. The situation was made even worse by the fact that people had been injured, including the pregnant woman. The incident was a huge shock to fans and critics alike. How could someone with so much promise in boxing act so carelessly? This behavior raised more questions about Davis's character and whether he truly understands the gravity of his actions. Davis's legal problems and his fight choices. It seems that every time Davis's career reaches a new peak, his past resurfaces, bringing with it legal troubles and questions about his behavior. After the hit-and-run incident, many wondered whether Davis would be able to move past his personal issues and focus on his boxing career. Some critics have even suggested that Davis is trying to redirect the public's attention from his legal troubles by choosing to fight opponents who are less exciting and less controversial. This is where the upcoming fight against Lamont Roach comes into play. When the matchup was announced, fans were disappointed, as Roach is not considered a major threat or a highly popular fighter. However, some believe that Davis may be intentionally choosing to fight someone like Roach to shift the focus away from his past issues. By facing a less exciting opponent, Davis might be hoping to avoid further media scrutiny and keep the spotlight on his boxing career rather than his personal problems. This tactic might seem like a smart move from a strategic perspective, but it also raises questions about whether Davis is more focused on protecting his reputation than on challenging himself in the ring. His history of legal troubles and violent behavior suggests that there might be more going on with him than just a desire to win in the ring. A champion with a dark side, Gervonta Davis's rise to fame has been impressive, and his talent in the ring is undeniable. His knockouts and ability to dominate opponents have made him a force to be reckoned with in boxing. However, the more we learn about his personal life and legal troubles, the more we begin to question who he really is. The stories of violence, reckless behavior, and legal issues paint a picture of someone who struggles to control his aggression and manage his emotions. Despite his success in boxing, Davis's behavior outside the ring has raised serious concerns. He might be able to put on a fearless face in the ring, but it's becoming clear that his personal life is filled with contradictions. He seems to be a champion who is not entirely in control, not of his temper, his actions, or the image he projects to the world. As his career progresses, it's becoming harder to ignore the darker side of Gervonta Davis, and it leaves many wondering whether he'll be able to keep his personal demons in check or if they will ultimately catch up with him.